Hey guys, it's been the usual 2 to 3 weeks since I've last posted. I don't think anyone is really surprised, to be honest. But I'm back with another build. Today, I'm attempting to make a spring farmhouse in Bloxburg, so let's get right into it. I felt like doing a spring build since I've never done one before, but honestly the house didn't turn out as springy as I'd have liked it to, but it's okay. I should honestly just go crazy with different colors, even if it looks extreme, because I'm always sticking to the same colors, which is kind of boring. But I tried to spice the build up a bit with tons of flowers and pops of color wherever I could. What's y'all's favorite season, by the way? Mine's definitely summer, so I'm excited that it's coming up and I can't wait to get started on some summer builds. I have a lot of ideas for summer that I'm excited to try. What sucks is that I want to crank out a ton of builds over the summer, but most of the commentary that I get is stuff that happens at school. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that, but it should be fine. I'll just worry about it later. If you're wondering why the build is floating toward the beginning of the video, I wanted to get the actual house itself down first, and then later I'm going to add some hills sloping upward toward the house. I feel like most farmhouses are kind of off in the distance and then they have different slopes leading up to them, so that's what I tried to replicate. I've never made a farmhouse before, but I do like how it turned out. At least mostly when I started it. I don't know if this is just me, but when I'm working on a build toward the beginning, I like how it looks a lot better than by the end whenever I finish the build. I guess by the time I've finished building, I've been looking at the build a lot, and I don't really know if this makes too much sense, but it looks worse in my eyes looking at it from the end, rather from when I started it. Since building usually can take a while, and by the time I finish it gets pretty boring. But I'm still pretty happy with how this turned out even now whenever I'm editing the video. Also, I'm not sure if anybody was wondering, but I kinda gave up on the interior of the other Mediterranean home I was building. I don't know why, I just find it really difficult finishing interiors because they take ages for me to finish, and I'm honestly not that great at them anyway. I'm never really happy with how the end results turn out, and thinking about that just makes it a lot more difficult to actually finish them. I guess that means I'll never really improve at interiors, but that's okay honestly because I prefer building exteriors a lot more anyway. Earlier this week during school, my laptop charger broke, so I'm having to use my Nintendo Switch charger, which somehow actually works to charge the computer. So if you guys ever have a laptop that breaks during school, then test out your Nintendo Switch charger because it actually works for some of them. The only downside is that the cord is super short, so it doesn't really reach across the classroom, so I can only charge it when there's an outlet close to my desk. And it charges it about the same speed too. It's not like slow or anything, it works pretty quick. I also saw a new Nintendo Switch is coming out, which looks pretty fun. They have a new Mario Kart as well, which I really want to try, but I pretty much have no money right now, so it'll probably be a long time before I can try it out. Nintendo is definitely still one of my favorite consoles because it's all I really played when I was younger, so it's super nostalgic for me. I'm sure some of you guys have noticed, but pretty much all the music in my background is Nintendo music. Another crazy thing happened earlier this week during school though. I was walking with one of my friends and we were talking about one of our teachers, which you can probably already see where this is going. And as we're walking through the front doors to go to class, the class is like in another separate building, so we have to walk through an outside hallway to get there. And my friend mentioned that she had a picture of one of my teachers and it was kind of loud, and right as she said it, you can just feel a looming presence behind us, and can you guess who it was? Yup, it was that exact same teacher, which was pretty unfortunate. And he looked pretty scared, which I mean I would be too. I wasn't the one who said it though, so I was pretty much just laughing. I'm not sure if you guys have taken the ACT. I'm in the process of taking a bunch of different ACT tests right now, so if you guys are also going through that struggle, then definitely let me know. It's basically just a test in 4 categories for math, science, reading, and then English. And it's not too terribly difficult, but the reading for me is always the most difficult. It's like I'm illiterate. I understand what's happening in the passages, but then the questions always throw me off, I guess. You would think I'd be okay at the reading section, or it'd be easier for me since I like to read a lot, but it's definitely not the case. It's so weird though, because while I was taking it, while I was doing the math, I honestly didn't know a lot of the different questions they were asking, and I thought I did a lot better on the reading than I did on the math, but it always turns out to be the opposite. So somehow my math was better than my reading. I used to love math when I was younger, but now that it's evolved into letters and all these complex whatever arithmetic we're doing, I dread walking into my math class every day, especially since it's at the end of the day for me. You might see the video cut to different sections of me building, and it's because I want to keep the video as fast as I can without it being boring. Like, let's say I build a window and build the same style of a window 5 other times. There's no real point in keeping the other ones in the video because it's already been seen once, if that makes sense. So I do that with a couple different elements like the windows, the arches under the roofs, and custom details, stuff like that. The only other thing I didn't show was the color scheme, because it always takes me ages going back and forth, so I also did that off camera. The other thing I find difficult to include in speed builds are the decals. I'm not too great at finding decals, but when I do, it's usually pretty random or at different random times, so I'm not usually recording when I do use them. I'll always be sure to link the decals that I use in the description though. And if you guys ever have any questions about the colors or how I built something, feel free to let me know in the comments and I can answer anything that I worked on. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I hope you guys enjoy the tour.